Thanks for sticking with us on Assets Television. Welcome to the news. I am Eugenia. First, the headlines. President Tinubu to present 2025 budget to National Assembly next week. Water Resources Minister says issues of flooding in Nigeria will soon be over. Reps member tackles PDP over zoning arrangement of national chairman's position. In other news, in detail. President Bola Tinubu will present the 2025 appropriation bill to a joint session of the National Assembly on Tuesday next week. President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, disclosed this during Thursday's plenary session.
His Excellency the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria has indicated his intention to bring the 2025 budget proposal amendment to a joint sitting of the National Assembly on 17th day of December 2024. That will be at 11 a.m. prompt. That will be in the House of Representatives as usual. So I'm talking about Tuesday next week. So all our colleagues are enjoying to report early so that we can have a few minutes of deliberation before we move down to meet with Mr. President. Accordingly, the Senate is hereby adjourned to Tuesday, the 17th day of December 2024 at 11 a.m. when there will be a joint session of the two chambers for Mr. President's budget speech. However, we shall meet here first before we go in a procession to the House of Representatives.
Well, the appropriations bill will contain budget proposals for the 2025 fiscal year. The National Economic Council, NEC, has received position reports on the establishment of state police from the 36 state governors. The NEC meeting was chaired by Vice President Kashim Shettima and attended by state governors, deputy governors, ministers, and some presidential aides. Briefing State House correspondents shortly after the meeting, which lasted for over 4 hours, Governor Uba Sani of Kaduna State said the state governors indicated an overwhelming support for the establishment of state police because of the security challenges bedeviling their states. However, he said the NEC postponed the deliberation on the matter to January 2025. He also disclosed that the Secretariat has committed to engaging stakeholders further before the Council's January meeting, where a comprehensive report will be presented. Nigeria's Minister of Water Resources and Sanitation, Engineer Joseph Utsef, said the country has been able to check the persistence of flooding in the country. The minister made this disclosure in an exclusive interview with Assets Television in Abuja. He said, though Nigeria as a country cannot totally eradicate flooding, but has found ways to mitigate around the challenges. According to him, this year, the ministry came out with early warning after they had a meeting with Cameroon Authority on when to release water from Lagdo Dam after communities and states that used to be affected were properly informed.
We as a ministry, we are trying our possible best to mitigate the challenges of flooding. We cannot totally 100% eradicate flooding because flooding comes with its benefits as well as its challenges. So we are looking at the aspect of the challenges, the disasters that comes with flooding, how we can mitigate it. What we are doing early this year, in the 2024, to be precise, in February this year, we came out with early warning, annual flooding early warning, by sensitizing Nigerians and the inhabitants of Nigeria of the things, the predictions, the communities and states that should be expecting flooding for the year 2024.
Well, he said what is usually experienced in Nigeria are floods from either overflow, which are mostly natural or man-made as a result of blockage of waterways.
A lot of people have that misconception that flooding in Nigeria comes as a result of the opening of Lado Dam from Cameroon. We have different types of flooding. We have the flash flooding. We also have the flooding that comes as a result of overflow from some reservoirs like dams or major rivers in the country. And we also have a different type of flooding that comes as a result of some practices that we human beings done, which are called the man-made flooding. Let me start from the man-made flooding, which comes as a result of blockages of waterways. When I mean blockages of waterway, it has two phases. One,
what happened in Trademore Estate?
Like what happened there.
Yeah.
One is as a result of the dumping of refuge in water channels, that is drainages. Another one is as a result of people building on waterways.
Well, the minister also hinted that Nigeria is also working towards more dams in all geopolitical zones to boost all year-round agriculture, while those dams that need rehabilitation have been identified. On water laboratories, he said the ministry has improved water labs to identify the putrid with the ministry's power current. He also pledged the ministry's readiness along with stakeholders water. The court sitting in Ikeja to strike out an application filed by former governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, challenging the jurisdiction of the court. Through its counsel, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Rotimi Oyedepo, the commission described the application as a ploy to frustrate the prosecution from conducting its constitutional mandate, which includes diligent prosecution of economic and financial crimes. Oyedepo also insisted that the state has high court. Oyedepo also insisted that the state high court has unfettered jurisdiction to hear and determine the charge on its merit, contrary to the argument of Emefiele's lawyer, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Olale Konujo, that the court lacks the jurisdiction to hear the subject matter of the case. In his application challenging the powers of the court, Ojo had argued that Emefiele could not be tried in any state high court in Nigeria for alleged abuse of office, as this raises significant constitutional and legal issues. The senior lawyer also argued that counts 1 to 4 of the 26 count charges filed against him by the EFCC are unconstitutional, as they are not based on any existing laws in Nigeria. He submitted that the court does not have jurisdiction to try the offense of abuse of office related to the position of governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, held by the defendant at the time of the alleged crimes. Ojo therefore urged the court to strike out the charge against the defendant for lack of jurisdiction. In his response, Oyedepo argued that the allegations against Emefiele are economic and financial crimes which the EFCC is statutorily empowered to investigate and prosecute before the court. One more news will come your way shortly after the break. Stay with us. Thank you for staying with us on plans to further impose current acting chairman of the party, Umar Damagum, as substantive chairman. Chinyere says the arrangement negates the dreams of the founding fathers of the PDP.
That a party that was founded in 1998 by the great efforts of our founding fathers, the likes of Elese Kwebe, Jerry Gana, Adamu Chioma, Bamanga Tuko, Gamade, Iyocho Ayu, Atiku Abubakar, Obasanjo, Solomon La, and a lot of our retired generals came together and ended 16 years of military rule. That political party is what these guys are playing akara with. The almighty PDP is what an impostor called Omadamagu and Samuel Anyanwu Sandadi is now messing up with and forgetting the sacred expectation of Nigerian people, all of you, from a vibrant opposition. Today I want to inform the whole Nigeria that they have perfected a plan to ensure that the next meeting to choose an acting chairman from North Central, where the position originally supposed to come from, is not. They want Madam and post of the head to continue to parade as your national chairman and stay in office 2027, so that they can foist on us a willing presidential candidate that will lead the party to total defeat.
And belonging to late Colonel Paul Ogbebo. He says finding from Corporate Affairs Commission indicates that a company known as Saravera stands at the center of the land grabbing saga. The honorable member listed names of Sandy Kingsley and Rukos, among others, as beneficiaries of the land grabbing project. Well, the Kano State Governor Abba Yusuf has reshuffled his cabinet, scrapped the Chief of Staff COS portfolio and removed the Secretary to the State Government SSG Abdullahi Bichi. The announcement was made during a press briefing by the Governor's spokesperson Sanusi Bature Dawakintofa on Thursday. According to the statement, the reshuffle is part of Governor Yusuf's strategy to realign his administration for optimum performance and deliver more dividends of democracy to the people of Kano State. The shake-up saw the removal of the Chief of Staff, Shehu Sagagi, whose office has been abolished. Abdullahi Bafabachi, the SSG, was also dropped reportedly due to health reasons. Well, the federal government has warned developers of the Lagos shoreline to regularize the federal government has warned developers on the Lagos shoreline to regularize their projects or face revocation and possible demolition. This was disclosed in a statement by the Director of Press and Public Relations at the Ministry of Housing and Urban Development, Salisu Haiba. The ultimatum was delivered by the Minister of Housing and Urban Development, Ahmed Dengiwa, following his inspection of the Lagos Lagoon estates and other shoreline fronts. Accompanied by the Permanent Secretary, Dr. Marcus Ogunbiyi, and senior officials from the ministry, Dengiwa expressed concern over the increasing number of irregular developments on the lagoon shorelines. In a joint agreement with the Lagos State Government, Dengiwa outlined plans for collaborative efforts to regulate development on the shoreline. According to the minister, the federal government will not tolerate such unlawful actions, and developers have been given a 1-month deadline to regularize their projects. Failure to comply will result in revocation and demolition of the illegal structures. Gombe State Governor Inuwa Yahaya has been rated high in the area of security through his application of ingenuity, consciousness, managerial prowess, and total commitment to the attainment of efficient and sustainable security unhindered in Gombe State. The governor, who was represented by Commissioner for Internal Security and Home Affairs, Lieutenant Colonel Abdullahi Bello, retired, has this to say.
In 2025, the security situation in Gombe State will be intensified. What we have seen is just the beginning, because I'm aware His Excellency is so much interested in security, and that is priority all the time. So
Well, also, the National President of Road Transport Employers Association of Nigeria, Musa Muhammad, who was represented by the National Secretary, Comrade Yusuf Adeni, spoke extensively on the role of transporters in terms of security in the country. Musa Muhammad was convener of the event, People's Musa in Nigeria, while best the security.
Tragically, our security operatives who serve as our last resort defenders are continually being decimated by unrepentant agents of insecurity in our midst. Of course, no reasonable nation stands and watches its sovereignty being cruelly hijacked by bloodthirsty criminals. And this further explains our gathering here today. We owe the nation the sacred responsibility of preserving its security, peaceful coexistence, and indeed our sovereignty.
The effect of insecurity in our land cannot be overemphasized, because there is nothing a governor will do, there is nothing President Bola Ahmed Tinubu will do if there is no security. It will not be appreciated. I might sound political here, but the truth of the matter is, as much as there is so much infrastructural development under Buhari, it was eclipsed by the insecurity in the land. So any right-thinking president, governor should look at the issue of security. We do something in Lagos which I might not go into details, because that's the strength of our success. Not going into details. But you see, a situation where you have those you call thieves in the societies, those you call area boys, those same people you see as miscreants are the same tools people like us are using to bring peace.
Our security operatives who serve as our last resort defenders are continually being
colleagues that history will remember if they do not back the impeachment of President Yoon Suk-yeol with just over 24 hours until a vote to remove him from office. Yoon's short-lived imposition of South Korea's first martial law in over 4 decades plunged the country's vibrant and combative democracy into some of its worst political turmoil in years. An attempt to remove him from office last Saturday failed when lawmakers from the ruling People's Power Party, PPP, boycotted the impeachment motion. But after a week of backdoor politicking and a mounting investigation into Yoon and his inner circle, analysts now say the main opposition Democratic Party may have better luck with its second attempt. Saturday's impeachment vote will take place around 5 p.m. with Yoon charged with insurrectionary acts, undermining the constitutional order for his martial law bid. And in sports, China has jailed former Premier League star and men's national coach Li Tie for 20 years for bribery, snaring one of the country's greatest football figures in a sweeping government crackdown on corruption in sports. President Xi Jinping has waged an unrelenting campaign against deep-seated official corruption since coming to power over a decade ago. Anti-graft authorities took aim at the sports industry in 2022 and have announced a string of convictions for former football administrators this week. In the highest profile case to date, a court in central Hubei province said that Li had been sentenced to fixed-term imprisonment of 20 years after being found guilty of a string of offenses relating to giving and receiving bribes. The 47-year-old is one of China's biggest football names, serving as national team coach from January 2020 to December 2021 after racking up nearly 100 international caps and playing as a midfielder for English Premier League side Everton. But with that sports story, we end the news. Don't forget to follow us on all our social media platforms for more news and programs. On behalf of the entire news crew, I am Eugenia Solomon. Thank you for watching.